day to each and everyone. My name is Grace Ann M. Apolinario, together with my partner Trisha Sumasagaysay, and today we'll be discussing about the basic principle in cooking. First of all, what is basic principle in cooking? So the basic principle in cooking is the essential knowledge that we need to cook properly. It includes choosing the right ingredients, using the correct cooking methods like frying, boiling, steaming, grilling, and baking. We also need to consider the right temperature, cooking time, and food preparation. So the main goal is to make the food delicious, safe to eat, and easy to digest. So next, what is heat transfer? Heat transfer is a movement of heat from one object to another. In cooking, it refers how heat moves from stove, oven, or microwave into the food. Heat always flows from something hotter to something cooler. Paano nga ba ginagamit ang heat transfer in cooking? So, ang heat transfer is very important in cooking. Dahil dito, naluluto ang pagkain at namamatay ang mga harmful bacteria kaya nagiging safe itong kainin. Kapag umiinit ang pagkain, yung mga molecules niya ay nagmumove ng malakas, nagsasalpukan at nagkakaroon ng energy. Dahil dito, kumakalat ang init sa buong pagkain kaya ito naluluto ng pantay-pantay. So, there are three types of heat transfer methods. Number 1 is the conduction, number 2 is the convection, and number 3 is the radiation. First of all, let's talk about the conduction. So, conduction is a movement of heat from one item to another through direct contact. Ibig sabihin, kailangan makatikit ang dalawang bagay para makalipat ang init. For example, kapag nagluluto tayo sa kawali, yung init mula sa stove ay dumidikit sa ilalim ng pan, tapos yung init ng pan ay lumilipat naman sa pagkain, kaya naluluto ito. This is actually the most common type of heat transfer, lalo na sa pagluluto. Water is actually a better conductor of heat than air. Ibig sabihin, mas mabilis magluto o magpainit ng pagkain sa tubig kaysa sa hangin. Kaya nga, mas mabilis maluto ang itlog kapag binuboil ito. So again, conduction means heat transfer by touching, galing sa mainit na bagay papunta sa ibang bagay na nakadikit. Number 2, we have the convection. So, the convection ay isang uri ng heat transfer na nangyayari sa liquid tulad ng tubig at gases. Unlike the conduction where heat is transferred by direct contact, convection happens when the heat causes the liquid or gas particles to move. And how does it works? Kapag pinainit natin ang isang liquid o gas, the molecules at the bottom get hot and move faster. These hot molecules then rise because they are less dense, and the cooler molecules sink to take their place. So these movements create a cycle which helps spread heat throughout the liquid or gas. For example, kapag nagboil tayo ng tubig, yung mainit na tubig mula sa ilalim ng kawali ay umaakyat sa ibabaw. Tapos yung malamig na tubig ay sa taas ay bumababa. So this cycle happens over and over, which helps cook the food evenly. So another example is when you use an oven. So the hot air inside the oven circulates around the food, cooking it from all sides. Types of convection. So, the number 1 is the natural convection. So, this happens when heat causes the molecules to move naturally without needing a pump or fan. Example, kapag nagpakulo ka ng tubig, yung mainit na tubig sa ilalim ay kusa ng umaakyat at ang malamig na tubig naman ay bumababa. Wala kang kailangan gawin. Natural lang siyang nangyari habang umiinit ang tubig. So, number 2, we have the mechanical or forced convection. So, ang mechanical convection is when machines or fans helps move the hot or cold air to spread heat more evenly. Unlike the natural convection, which helps on its own, mechanical convection needs a force like a fan or pump to move the air. For example, in an oven, there's a pan that blows hot air around the pot. This helps the pot cook evenly because the pan moves the air and spread it all over the pot. In simple words, convection is a transfer of heat through liquid and gases. So there are two types, natural convection and mechanical convection. So natural convection happens naturally like when boiling water, while mechanical convection needs a machine like a pan or an oven to help circulate the heat. Last but not the least is the radiation. So, radiation is a type of heat transfer where heat moves in the form of energy waves without needing any medium like air or water. So, hindi na kailangan ng direct contact unlike the conduction or convection. So, paano nga ba ito nangyayari? In radiation, heat is transferred through electromagnetic waves which are invisible. So these waves can travel through empty space like from the sun to earth or even in your kitchen like in your microwave. For example, kapag nag-grill tayo ng pagkain, nararamdaman natin ang init mula sa grill kahit hindi tayo direktang humahawak sa metal. So, ito yung radiation. Ang init ay dumadaloy sa form ng waves mula sa grill papunta sa pagkain. Another example is a microwave. It heats food using electromagnetic wave that pass through the food and warm it up without needing contact with food itself. Let's move on to the next topic, the effects of heat. So number 1, we have the protein coagulation. So before that, let's define what is protein. So proteins are large molecules found in both animal-based food like meat, egg, and dairy, and plant-based foods like beans and nuts. So proteins are usually in a liquid or semi-liquid form when raw. So paano nangyari ang coagulation? So, when we cook protein, they start to lose moisture, meaning the water content inside them evaporates. As the protein cooks, it shrinks and becomes firm. So, this process is called coagulation. So, the heat causes the protein's molecules to denature or change their structure, making them firmer and solid. For example, a good example of protein coagulation is when you cook an egg. The egg white, which is originally clear and liquid, turns white and firm as it's cooked. So this happens because the proteins in the egg white coagulate and solidify when exposed to heat. Second, we have the starches gelatinized. So, ano nga ba ang starches? So, starches are complex carbohydrates found in foods like potatoes, grains, and corn. These starches are usually in the form of small, hard granules when raw. So, paano nga ba nangyari ang gelatinization? So, when starch is heated with water, the starch granules absorb the water, causing them to swell, soften, and clarify. So this process is called gelatinization. As the starch absorbs water, it becomes thicker and forms a gel-like texture. Example, when you cook rice or make gravy with flour, you see how the liquid thickens over time. That's because the starches in the rice or flour are absorbing the water and thickening the mixture. And third, we have sugar caramelized. So first, let's define what is sugars. So sugars are complex carbohydrates found in plants and animal. They are the basic building blocks of sweetness and can be naturally found in fruits, vegetables, and other foods. So, paano nangyayari ang caramelization? So, caramelization is a process where sugar breaks down when heated, usually starting at temperature of 338 Fahrenheit or 170 degrees Celsius. So, this process turns the sugar into a rich, brown, and sweet syrup, giving food that caramelized flavor we love. So, why does it happen? So, caramelization is responsible for a lot of flavors we associate with cooking, especially in baked goods or grilled food. So, foods that are cooked with moist heat, like boiling or steaming, don't reach high enough temperature to caramelize. Only food cook with dry heat like baking, roasting, or grilling, or a combination method like broiling can caramelize. For example, when you make caramel sauce or grill vegetables, the sugar in them caramelizes, making them taste sweeter and more flavorful. And another thing, we have water evaporates. So when we say water evaporates, it means lahat ng pagkain ay may tubig sa loob, lalo na yung fruits, vegetables at meats. Kapag iniinitan ang pagkain, ang mga water molecules ay gumagalaw ng mas mabilis. Dahil dito, nag-e-evaporate o nagsisingaw ang tubig. Kapag masyadong matagal na niluluto, natutuyo ang pagkain dahil sa pakawala ng tubig. For example, kapag nagluto tayo ng beef tapa o fried fish, mapapansin natin na habang niluluto ito, may lumalabas na singaw or steam. Yan ang tubig na nag-e-evaporate habang umiinit ang kawali. So, in short, water evaporation helps in drying food, but too much heat can also make the food too dry. Last but not the least is the fats melt. So, ang fats ay nakikita sa butter, oil, at iba pang animal or plant-based foods. Kapag pinainit ang fat, natutunaw ito at kumakalat sa pagkain. Hindi siya natutunaw sa tubig, pero madaling matunaw sa init. For example, kapag nagprito tayo ng bacon, mapapansin natin yung solid fat ay natutunaw at nagiging oil. Yung mantika na yon ay tumutulong para maluto at mag-brown ang bacon. Another example is when butter melts on a hot pan, it turns into liquid fat and adds flavor to the food.
Good day everyone, my name is Trisha Sumagaysay and I will discuss you about the cooking method. So, in cooking method, here are the example. So, we have dry cooking, moist heat cooking, and lastly, the combination cooking. So, first is the dry heat cooking. Excuse me. The dry heat cooking, so we have the different cooking method. So we have the sauteing cooking, and the sauteing cooking is the isang cooking technique kung saan mabilis mong niluluto gamit ang small amount of oil over high heat, and usually ginagamit ito sa mga gulay or karne para mabilis silang maluto habang nanatiling malasa at hindi ma-overcook. So, that's it. So, next is the pan frying. The pan frying is cooking food in a moderate amount of oil over medium heat. So, for example, pag mag-fry tayo ng chicken or fish, dapat yung oil na is katamtaman lang. Parang mas marami pa yung oil kumpara kay sauteing. Yes, kumpara kay sauteing. So the next one is the deep frying. So the deep frying is the cooking food by submerging it fully in hot oil. So for example, pag pinapry natin yung french fries, kailangan natin ng madaming mantika. Dinidip fry para maluto talaga siya and crispy at eventually cook. So, next is the roasting and baking. So, both roasting and baking are cooking method that use dry heat. So, usually sa oven, pero may slight difference sila sa purpose at kung anong klaseng pagkain niluluto. Ano nga ba ang roasting? Ang roasting, di ba, is usually high dry heat siya. Around 180 degrees Celsius to 230 degrees Celsius. So, madalas ginagamit dito sa karne. And, for example, ang choose to go. So, goal ng choose to go is magkaroon ng brown and crispy outside and habang juicy pa rin sa loob. So, iniihaw siya doon. Yun ay example ng roasting sa choose to go. And next is, so ang baking is gumagamit ng dry heat, usually sa oven, para lutuin ang dough or gagawin mong cookies. So, bago mo siya lagyan sa oven is kailangan mo muna siya painitin bago mo lagyan ng cookies or something dough na ginawa mong bake. And then, para maano siya, hintayin mo muna siya maging golden brown and tumaas yung dough na ginawa mo para maging cookie siya. Next is the grilling. So, grilling is cooking food over direct heat, usually on a grill or open frame. So, ang grill is, for example, alam nyo naman ang grill, di ba? Pag grill is ihaw. Mag-iihaw tayo ng pagkain like isda, manok, or maggawa ka ng pork chop, ihaw mo lang siya, grill. So, ang poaching. So, poaching is, for example, pag gumagamit tayo ng poaching is para mga pagkain na dedicate tulad sa isda, egg, or etc. Pag sa egg naman is para hindi siya ma-dry. Para hindi sila ma-dry, and yung poach kasi is pag niluluto yung egg, dapat yung pagbo-boil niya is gently simmer lang. Kasi may bubble siya ng maliit pero hindi siya malakas, hindi siya kumukulo ng malakas. Hindi tulad talaga sa boiling, as in sobrang lakas at madaming bubbles nakikita. So dito sa poach is maliit lang yung bubbles niya at hindi siya gaano kalakas. So pag kalabasan ng egg sa poaching is smooth yung white, and yung sa loob ng egg naman, yung color yellow na yolk is creamy siya. Hindi siya dry. Gets? So, next is simmer. So, ang simmer naman is, example ng simmer, pag magluluto tayo ng adobo. Pag luluto tayo po ng adobo, kailangan after initial boiling is hihina yung apoy para mag-simmer at lumambot ang meat. Lumambot ang manok or ano pa. Ang simmer kasi is pag pinapakuluan natin ang sabaw ng adobo or liquid, kailangan siya is mas mahina kaysa kay boiling, pero mas malakas naman kaysa kay poaching ang pag-boil niya. So, dapat nasa mahinang apoy lang. Yun din ang different ng simmer at poaching. mas mahina kaysa kay boiling, pero mas malakas naman kaysa kay poaching, ang simmering. So, yeah. Next is, so sa boiling naman tayo. Boiling is kailangan lang siya ng mataas na temperature pag nagaluto tayo ng karne. Pag naluto tayo ng karne, pag mag-boil tayo, dapat hintayan lang natin hanggang lumambot ang karne. Yun lang man ang boil. Magbo-boil lang at makikita mo na maraming maraming bubbles kasi malakas ang pabuboil niya. Kailangan kasi ng high temperature para sa boiling, para lumambot ang karne or anuman pagkain ang niluluto mo. Okay, next is yung steaming. Yung steaming naman is, for the example, magluluto tayo ng leche plan. Diba mag-steam yan tayo? Lalagyan natin sa steam tray, yun may butas-butas. Tapos, dun natin, yung baba niya is may tubig sa baba. Nagbo-boil. Mataas. Kaya ang steaming kasi, kailangan ng mataas na temperature para maluto yung leche plan na ginagawa mo. Pero, dapat sa mahinang apoy, sa medium high heat lang, sa medium heat lang dapat kailangan ang apoy para hindi siya yung leche plan mo ay hindi maging scrambled egg. So, yun ang pang steaming. Kailangan lang ng high temperature and slow, medium high heat lang. So, braising is kung saan sama-sama mo ang dry heat moist. So, ibig sabihin, piniprito mo o sinisir mo muna ang karne or gulay para magkaroon ng magandang kulay at flavor. Tapos, niluluto mo siya sa konting sauce sa mababang apoy at matagal na oras hanggang lumambot ang karne or gulay na niluluto mo. So, ulit, ang braising is isisneer mo muna, add mo ng konting sauce at hintayin mo hintayin mo siya lumambot ang karne mo. So, sa stewing is pag nagluluto po tayo ng tulad ng yung stewing is kailangan maliliit na peraso ang karne. At similar din siya sa braising, pero sa steaming is nakalubog siya sa sauce or liquid mo. Pero habang nag-stew ito, ang karne is lumalambot ang karne sa mahabang at matagal na oras. Dahil din ito sa pag-simmer niya at kumakapal na din yun, flavorful ng sauce mo. So, that's it. So,